You've got 3 million in retirement savings. You've worked decades to build it and carefully saved. But now instead of living your dream retirement, you're stuck spending just $60,000 a year because you're afraid to touch your hard-earned money. We're talking millions saved up, but a lifestyle that feels no different than someone with a fraction of wealth. Why? Because one critical mental shift that never happened, but today we're fixing that. The biggest threat to a wealthy retiree isn't necessarily a stock market correction or rising inflation. It's inertia. The cost of doing nothing is watching your golden years slip by while your money is barely touched. Now, that may not sound bad at first. Hey, at least I'm safe and I'm not losing money. But what if I told you you are losing? You're losing the chance to travel and experience the world, to invest in family experiences, or to give back and make an impact in what's important to you. And as we'll see, the emotional and financial cost of not spending can be just as damaging as overspending. So let me introduce you to Bob. Bob spent his career diligently saving, building over a 3 million portfolio, all pre-tax, by the time he retired at 65. But Bob has a big fear, which is running out of money. And despite his wealth, he only spends $60,000 a year after tax from his portfolio. Now let's see what happens if he keeps that same spending pattern until age 90. So take a look at this projection. Even if we assume his spending goes up each year by 3.5% to keep up with inflation, and his investments earn 6.5% on average, Bob still ends up with well over $7.3 million by the time he's 90. So the question is, why is he depriving himself of a richer life? Think about it. That's money that could have gone to trips, helping others, or simply enjoying a more comfortable day-to-day lifestyle. But Bob's saver mindset is locking him out of opportunities in his own retirement. You see, most millionaires are incredible savers. That's probably how you got to $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, or more in the first place. But in retirement, that same habit can paralyze you from actually using the money. So think of it like this: the skill that got you to millionaire status, the discipline, frugality, constant reinvestment, can become your greatest liability once you stop working. You're so used to not spending, you end up in a mental prison of self-imposed frugality. Now, I hear these common objections all the time to validate that saver mindset. What if I need a bigger cushion for medical bills? What if the market crashes and I lose a huge chunk of my portfolio? And what if inflation goes wild? Now, those are valid concerns, but they can also become excuses to keep sitting on that money if you don't put the right structures in place. And that's why we're going to talk about 4 solutions to help you confidently spend your wealth in retirement. So first up, risk-based guardrails. And this strategy provides a dynamic withdrawal approach, meaning your spending can adjust slightly when the market has a great year and risk in your plan decreases, or a tough year and risks in your plan increase, so you don't overspend. So if we take Bob's numbers previously discussed, his spending can significantly increase by using a risk-based guardrail system and being flexible with spending. So this way, you're adjusting your spending based on the realities of life. Changes to risk like longevity and economic circumstances and market fluctuations, but you're not paralyzed. You've got a systematic approach to avoid spending too much and too little. And as you can see here, we can know exactly how your withdrawal amount can flex with changing risk conditions. The result is peace of mind and the freedom to enjoy more of your money when times are good, without jeopardizing your nest egg if risk increases, like a marked decline. See, with guardrails, we are trying to make sure that failure is not an option. What is an option are adjustments which are likely to occur but planned for are completely manageable. Now, solution number 2, which is addressing taxes. I've seen retirees who say, I don't want to spend more, it'll push me into a higher bracket. And while that's partially true, there's a much bigger picture here. With strategic distributions, combining things like Roth, traditional IRA, and taxable accounts, you can reduce overall taxes. Now, this often involves Roth conversions in early retirement or gradually tapping into multiple accounts to stay within certain brackets. But by fixing the tax piece, you can comfortably unlock more income for yourself each year rather than leaving that money on the table or handing it over to the IRS in unnecessary taxes. But healthcare costs are a massive wild card, and I get it. One medical event can derail an entire plan. But here's the good news. If you've laid the groundwork through a well thought out, let's just say, Roth conversion strategy, you built up an HSA and have some long-term care planning in place, you're already ahead of the curve. For example, if we go back to Bob's dynamic guardrail spending plan, so we could protect $250,000 and adjust that for inflation, so that if Bob has a major medical event, it's well planned for and funds are protected so they aren't spent through normal lifestyle expenses. And of course, this is before we even consider potential home equity as an additional emergency backstop. This means you don't have to hoard cash just for a what if scenario. You'll have a plan that specifically addresses high healthcare costs if and when they arise, freeing you to use other funds more liberally for living life today. Finally, let's talk about the emotional payoff of being a spender in retirement. See, leaving money behind is wonderful, but do you want your kids, grandkids, or favorite charities to only benefit after you're gone? Or would you rather share in their joy now? If you're concerned about taxes, you could do things like gifting appreciated assets through a donor advised fund, and that can allow you to avoid taxes and create a multi-year giving plan that takes advantage of the higher standard deduction. And for kids and grandkids, you can fund educational accounts, help them with their first home down payment, whatever is meaningful. You see, there's something powerful about seeing the impact of your wealth while you're still alive. There's a phrase I learned from Mitch Anthony, which is, do your giving while you're living, so you're knowing where it's going. It's not just about money, it's about connection, gratitude, and purpose. Now, I know some of you might still be thinking, I work too hard to watch my balance shrink. What if I can't handle it mentally? Now again, guardrails and dynamic withdrawal strategies ensure you don't deplete your savings recklessly. And that's because data can help you overcome that emotion. Or maybe you're thinking, I want to leave everything for my kids. They're counting on it. And the reality is, gifting earlier can actually create better outcomes. You can still leave a legacy, but you gain the experience of giving now and the ability to help the next generation prepare wisely for the wealth. And lastly, maybe you're thinking, we might have another 2008 crash. Then what? And that's certainly a possibility. But history shows markets recover, especially if you have a well-diversified portfolio and a war chest of cash and bonds, which we've previously covered on this channel. Your retirement plan should already account for bear markets and downturns. So here's the bottom line. Retired millionaires are failing at the single most crucial move, which is learning how to spend confidently. But with the strategies we discussed, you can have the confidence to lean in and rock retirement rather than sitting back idly and simply letting retirement happen to you. Don't let the fear keep you from living the retirement you've earned. Now, here's the thing. Once you've mastered the shift from saving to spending, the next question becomes, how much does it take to retire well? That's why you need to watch this next video, Retire with 6 Million. Here's what life actually looks like. You'll see exactly how someone with a 6 million portfolio lives in retirement, how they spend, invest, and avoid big financial pitfalls. And trust me, it's not what you'd expect. You can watch that right here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you're interested in exploring how our team of CFPs might help you, visit our website at onedegreeadvisors.com.